What would you do if you saw the truth about someone you loved, but speaking it could destroy everything? That question haunted me the day I realized my best friend's husband, Mark, wasn't the man she thought he was. Emily and I had been inseparable since college, sharing late-night dreams and tear-soaked confessions. She was the sister I never had, and when she married Mark, I celebrated her joy. He was charming, successful, the kind of man who seemed too good to be true. And he was. It started with small things. A sharp tone in his voice when Emily disagreed with him. The way her laughter dimmed when he entered the room. I brushed it off as newlywed adjustments until the night I saw the bruise. We were at their house for dinner, and Emily's sleeve slipped while reaching for wine. A purple mark circled her wrist, stark against her pale skin. She yanked her sleeve down, avoiding my eyes, but Mark's gaze lingered on me, cold and unyielding. My stomach twisted. I knew that look. It wasn't love. I waited until we were alone, washing dishes in their too-perfect kitchen. "Emily," I said softly, "is everything okay with Mark?" Her hands froze in the soapy water. She laughed, a brittle sound, and said I was overreacting. It was an accident, she insisted. He grabbed her too hard during an argument. It wouldn't happen again. But her eyes, those warm brown eyes I knew so well, were pleading for me to drop it. I didn't. Days later, I saw Mark at a cafe, his arm around a woman who wasn't Emily. He whispered something, and she flinched. It was subtle, but I'd seen that flinch before. I started noticing more late-night calls he'd step outside to take. The way Emily's smile never reached her eyes anymore. I couldn't stay silent. At a coffee shop, I told her everything. The bruise, the woman, the gut feeling that Mark was hiding something darker. Emily's face hardened. "You're jealous, Sarah," she spat. "You've always wanted what I have." Her words stung like a slap, but I pressed on. "I love you," I said. "I'm scared for you." She stood, her chair scraping the floor, and walked out. Our friendship cracked that day. Weeks passed. Emily stopped answering my calls. Mutual friends said she called me obsessive, said I was trying to ruin her marriage. I doubted myself, wondering if I'd misread it all. But then I saw Mark again, this time at a bar, his hand gripping a stranger's arm until she winced. I started digging. A friend in HR owed me a favor, and she found records Mark had been fired from 2 jobs for harassment. There were restraining orders, hushed up by his family's money. He wasn't just controlling, he was dangerous. I went to Emily's house, heart pounding. She opened the door, her face pale, a fresh bruise blooming on her cheek. "Emily," I begged, "you need to leave him." She shook her head, tears falling. "He loves me, Sarah. You don't understand." I gave her the evidence, printed pages of his past. She shoved them back, screaming at me to get out. Mark appeared behind her, his eyes locking onto mine, a predator sizing up prey. I left helpless. Months later, a call woke me at 3 a.m. Emily's voice, small and broken. "He's gone too far," she whispered. "I need help." I raced to her house, my mind flashing to every warning I'd given. The door was unlocked. Inside, the living room was trashed broken glass, overturned chairs. Emily sat on the floor, blood trickling from her lip. Mark was gone. She told me everything. The escalating violence, the threats, the way he'd isolated her. She'd found my evidence hidden in a drawer, read it, and confronted him. He'd snapped. We called the police. Mark was arrested, but the damage was done. Emily's spirit was fractured, her trust in herself shattered. She apologized, sobbing, for shutting me out. I held her, promising we'd rebuild together. But our friendship never fully healed. She moved away, needing space to heal, and I stayed, haunted by the what-ifs. What if I'd spoken sooner? What if I'd stayed silent? The truth saved Emily, but it cost us both. I learned that love means speaking hard truths, even when they burn. And sometimes, the monsters we fight aren't just the ones in the shadows, they're the ones we let into our hearts.